welcome to Life Changing Podcast.
Great to be starting this.
Yeah. Get ready, everyone, for, well, hopefully a life-changing journey. Over the next 20 days, we're diving deep.
Really deep into the core ideas, the gists of 20 pretty powerful books.
Exactly. Books that can genuinely shift how you see things, how you live.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it as your fast track to some seriously impactful knowledge.
And we're kicking off this whole series with a real cornerstone, I think, of just connecting with people, Leil Lowndes' How to Talk to Anyone.
Right. And our mission for this deep dive is, well, pretty straightforward. We want to unpack the main ideas from the book and really show you, our listener, how you can start using these techniques like right away to make your interactions better, build stronger connections.
Yeah, and this isn't just, basic chit-chat advice. Lowndes packs in 92 specific techniques. It's like a whole toolkit.
92. Wow.
Yeah. Covers everything, really. From making that killer first impression, navigating tricky social stuff, to building real rapport.
Okay, let's get right into it then. Those first moments, they're so crucial, aren't they? Lowndes starts right there, how to become a somebody when you walk in. And it kicks off with something she calls the flooding smile.
Technique number 1. And it's not that quick, almost automatic smile we often give.
No.
No. Lowndes says you should pause just for a second when you meet someone's eyes, kind of take them in,
Okay.
and then let this big, warm, genuine smile spread across your face. Really reach your eyes.
That little delay.
Yeah.
It sounds small, but I can see how that would feel different, more personal.
Exactly. She tells this great story about her friend Missy. Missy took over the family business, and she consciously started using this slower smile.
Yeah.
And apparently it totally changed how people saw her. She went from being the, giggling girl to this really respected CEO. That research she mentions on credibility and the impact of a slower smile seems to back it up.
Fascinating. So that slight pause makes it feel less like a reflex and more intentional, like this smile's for you.
Precisely. It suggests sincerity, maybe even a bit more confidence.
Okay, what's next? Sticky eyes.
Technique number 2. Yeah, sticky eyes. This is about eye contact, but holding it just a fraction longer than feels maybe totally normal.
Even after they finish talking.
Especially then, hold it for a beat after they stop, then look away slowly, almost like you're reluctant to break the connection.
I see. So it signals you're really locked in, really processing what they say.
Exactly. It screams respect, understanding. Lowndes mentions this guy, Sammy, who apparently saw his sales go up after he started using it. People just took him more seriously.
It's subtle stuff, but powerful.
Definitely. And then there's epoxy eyes.
Epoxy, like the glue.
Kinda, yeah. It's like taking sticky eyes and dialing up the intensity. Way up.
Okay.
It's that really direct, unwavering gaze. Lowndes says you see it with, like, big bosses, police investigators.
Yeah.
Even clever Romeos, as she puts it. People trying to be really persuasive.
Sounds intense. Maybe too intense.
Well, that's the thing with technique number 3. It's potent. She warns it can captivate or annihilate.
Wow. Okay, so you use with caution.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It needs the right context, the right person. It can project huge confidence, but get it wrong, and you just seem aggressive or creepy.
Got it. Okay, moving on from eyes. How we carry ourselves. Technique number 4. Hang by your teeth.
Yeah, it sounds weird, but it's a great visualization.
How does it work?
You literally imagine you're like a circus acrobat hanging from the big top by a leather bit clenched in your teeth.
Okay.
I'm picturing it. And what happens? Instantly, your posture straightens up right. Head high, shoulders back, spine aligned.
Yeah, it actually does.
It's a quick mental trick to improve your posture, and Lowndes really nails how posture acts as this non-verbal cue. It's that success barometer. Shows confidence before you even speak.
Love that. Okay, technique 5.
The big baby pivot. This is all about your initial approach, your body language when greeting someone.
Big baby pivot.
Think how a little kid greets a parent they adore coming home. They turn their whole body, arms might open up, just total unreserved welcome.
Ah, right. Open body language.
Exactly. It signals you're friendly, receptive, happy to engage. She contrasts it with, crossed arms, angled body, looking down.
Which reads as closed off.
Or timid, or just not interested. She mentions this woman, Carla, at a party whose closed-off posture probably just stopped people from approaching her. Our bodies really do talk.
So true. Okay, technique 6 builds on that welcoming vibe. Hello, old friend.
Yeah, this one's more about the mindset you adopt. The idea is to treat everyone you meet, even total strangers, with the warmth and pleasure you'd show a dear old friend you haven't seen in ages.
So project that familiarity and warmth.
Right. Imagine that feeling the delight, the ease. Lowndes says when you feel that, it automatically changes your expression, your tone, your body language. It just creates this instantly positive, comfortable atmosphere.
Makes sense. It lowers their guard, makes them feel valued right away.
Totally. Now, something that can undermine all that good first impression work, fidgeting.
Ah, yes. Technique 7, limit the fidget.
We all do it, right? Tapping fingers, jiggling feet, fiddling with hair or clothes.
Guilty.
Me too. But Lowndes points out how much it can sabotage your credibility. Makes you look nervous, unsure, maybe even dishonest.
Is it really that noticeable?
Apparently. She even mentions trial lawyers who sometimes hire people just to watch witnesses for fidgets. It shows how much weight people put on those little nonverbal tells.
Wow. Okay, note to self, stop fidgeting.
Or at least be aware of it. Next, technique 8, Hans's horse sense.
Clever Hans. The counting horse.
That's the one. But he wasn't actually doing math, right? He was just incredibly good at reading the subtle, unconscious cues from the people asking the questions.
Ah, so it's about observation.
Keen observation. Watching people's reactions, their micro-expressions, their shifts in posture as you interact, and then adjusting what you're doing or saying based on those cues.
Like reading the room, but on a micro level.
Exactly. She uses the analogy of watching TV with the sound off the distance. You can still figure out a lot about the emotions just from the visuals. It's about being present and tuning in.
Okay, and the last one for first impressions. Technique 9.
Watch the scene before you make the scene. This one's about mental prep. Visualization.
Like imagining the conversation going well beforehand.
Precisely. Mentally rehearse the interaction. Picture yourself being confident, connecting with people, having a positive exchange. Lowndes compares the start of any relationship or interaction to a rocket launch.
How so?
Because tiny errors right at the beginning can throw the whole thing way off course later on. So that mental prep helps you start strong.
Great. Solid foundation for first impressions.
Yeah.
But then comes the small talk. The part everyone dreads.
Yeah, small talk gets a bad rap. But Lowndes actually frames knowing these techniques as the potential cure for that dread.
I like the sound of that. So, part 2, small talk, what's first?
Technique 11, prosaic with passion. The idea here is that how you say something in those opening moments often matters more than what you say.
So even a boring opening line can work.
If you deliver it with warmth, with genuine energy, with, well, passion, a positive demeanor, empathy, that's what makes the connection, not necessarily the cleverness of your first words.
Okay, so bring the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Got it. Technique 12.
Always wear a what's it.
A what's it?
Yeah, something slightly unusual or unique that you wear or carry. An interesting pin, a weird tie, a book with a striking cover, anything that gives people an easy opening line.
So it's like providing the hook for them, takes the pressure off.
Exactly, it's an invitation. Oh, that's an interesting necklace. Boom, conversation started.
Clever. Okay, the classic questions. Where are you from? Technique 14 says, never the naked city.
Right. Don't just give a one-word answer like Columbus.
Because it kills the conversation.
Bread in the water. The other person has nowhere to go with that. Lowndes tells that funny story about the awkward Columbus, Ohio exchange.
Yeah.
And then later finding out the person was actually from Gehenna, a suburb, which apparently means hell in Hebrew. Now that would have been a conversation starter.
Huh. Definitely. So offer a little something extra. A detail. An interesting fact.
Exactly. Give them something to latch on to. Same idea applies to what do you do? That's technique 15, the nutshell resume.
Don't just give your title.
No. Focus on the benefit you provide. What's the interesting part of your job? How do you help people?
So instead of accountant, maybe, I help small businesses stay financially healthy.
Perfect. Or her example of the cosmetic surgeon, not just I do plastic surgery, but I reconstruct people's faces after accidents. It's about framing it in terms of impact. Or Gloria the hairdresser, helping women find their perfect look.
Makes it much more engaging. Yeah. Okay, technique 18. Be a sleuth on their slips of the tongue.
This is about really listening. Paying attention to those little things someone mentions casually, maybe even something they drop quickly.
Like a passing comment?
Yeah, because those can be gold mines for conversation. She tells the story of Nancy talking to Mrs. Otis.
What happened?
Mrs. Otis made some brief comment about plants, maybe expecting the topic to change. But Nancy picked up on it, asked a question, and it led to this whole rich conversation because it turned out Mrs. Otis was passionate about plants.
Shows you're actually interested, not just waiting for your turn to talk.
Exactly. It's active listening. Then there's technique 19, parroting.
Just repeating what they say.
Not the whole thing, just repeating the last few key words or a crucial phrase they just used.
Right.
It's a subtle prompt. It encourages them to elaborate on that specific point, showing you found it interesting and want to hear more. The example with Sweeney Todd is great.
How'd that go?
Someone mentions the play, the other person just repeats, Sweeney Todd, and bam! The first person launches into more detail about why they mentioned it. It keeps the focus on them and their interest.
Simple, but effective.
Yeah.
Okay, technique 21. Tell them about the time you encore. This sounds like it's for groups.
Yeah, it's brilliant in a group setting. If you know someone has a great story, you prompt them to tell it again for the benefit of others.
Like, oh, you have to tell them about your trip to...
Exactly. Lowndes uses the anecdote from the captain's cocktail parties. He'd use this to get guests sharing fascinating stories. It makes the storyteller feel good, gives the group great content. Everybody wins.
Nice one. Okay, finishing up small talk. General principles. Anything except liverwurst.
Basically, keep it positive. You can start a conversation about almost anything, but avoid complaining, being rude, dragging the mood down with negativity, especially early on.
Good rule of thumb. And finally, beware the naked have a nice day.
Meaning, say it like you mean it.
Put some sincerity, some warmth into even those brief closing remarks.
Yeah, a mumbled flat, have a nice day, feels dismissive. A genuine upbeat one leaves a much better final impression. Little things matter.
Absolutely. Okay, we're making good progress. Let's shift gears now to part 3. Talking like a VIP. This is about projecting more confidence, maybe more authority.
Exactly. Lowndes argues these communication skills are often what separates people who reach the top, professionally or socially.
Okay, so instead of what do you do, technique 25 suggests.
How do you spend most of your time?
That feels softer, more open-ended.
It is. It's more gracious. Less likely to put someone on the spot if maybe they're between jobs or their work isn't easily defined by a title. It invites a broader answer about passions, interests.
I like that. Then technique 26, your personal thesaurus. This isn't about swallowing a dictionary, is it?
No, definitely not. The point is that you don't need a massive vocabulary. Just consciously upgrading some of your common words to slightly more sophisticated synonyms can make a big difference in perception.
So instead of good, maybe excellent or beneficial.
Right. Look up synonyms for words you use all the time. Gradually incorporating a few more elevated words makes you sound more articulate, more intelligent.
Makes sense. Now, you mentioned earlier technique 29, the exclusive smile fits in here too.
Yeah, it's subtle but related to projecting social savvy. In a group, you don't give everyone the exact same smile. You might offer a general smile, but then give a slightly warmer, more direct smile to the person you particularly want to connect with or show respect to.
It's about nuance, directing your focus.
Exactly. Social intelligence.
Then, technique 31, paint word pictures.
Using more vivid language.
Yes. Metaphors, similes, analogies. Language that creates images in the listener's mind. Makes your conversation way more engaging and memorable.
Like Barry Farber's examples.
Oh, they're fantastic. Feeling like an elephant dangling over a cliff with his tail tied to a daisy. You instantly see that. It makes the feeling so much more potent than just saying, I felt precarious.
Definitely memorable. Okay, technique 32. Call a spade a spade.
This is about being direct and clear. Avoiding vague jargon or euphemisms when plain language will do.
Not being blunt, but being precise.
Exactly. It conveys confidence and clarity. No hiding behind fuzzy language.
And the last one in this VIP section, technique 34, it's the receiver's ball. Love this analogy. Think of a quarterback throwing a football. They don't just chuck it randomly. They throw it to where the receiver will be.
So when delivering news or information,
think about the receiver. How are they likely to hear this? What's their perspective? Tailor your delivery tone, framing, timing with their potential reaction in mind, whether the news is good or bad.
that shows real consideration. Okay, great stuff. Moving on to part 5. Creating rapport. That feeling of, hey, we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, why we're just alike. Lowndes taps into that basic human thing we tend to like and trust people who we feel are similar to us.
Finding common ground.
Finding common ground, shared perspectives, even similar ways of speaking or moving, it builds comfort and trust. She briefly mentions how people from different backgrounds might have different movement styles, which relates to mirroring, though she doesn't detail mirroring heavily here.
Interesting. But technique 45 is about language similarity, echoing.
This is super powerful. It's about literally using the exact words the other person uses for key concepts.
Like the car sales example.
Perfect example. The customer says, toddler. The salesperson echoes toddler, not child or kid. It creates this instant subconscious feeling of, ah, they get me. We speak the same language.
Even small word choices matter.
Hugely. Penny's experience using the client's specific jargon for their workplace that builds instant connection.
Technique 46, potent imaging, builds on the idea of tailoring.
Right, but this time with analogies and metaphors. Use images and comparisons drawn from their world, not just yours.
So if you're talking to a sports fan, use a sports analogy.
Exactly. Or her example of using ballet metaphors when talking strategy with a team of female executives who loved ballet. It shows you understand their frame of reference and makes your point hit home harder.
Smart. Okay, technique 47, employ empathizers. What are those?
They're those little phrases we use to show we're listening and understanding. But Lowndes says, ditch the simple uh-huh or yeah.
Use full sentences instead.
Yes. Things like, I see what you mean. That makes sense. I can understand why you'd feel that way. They sound much more engaged and validating.
Makes the other person feel truly heard.
Definitely. And technique 48 takes it a step further. Anatomically correct empathizers.
What does that mean?
It means matching your empathizer to the sense the other person is using. Are they talking visually, I see the problem, auditorily, sounds like a good plan, or kinesthetically, I feel stuck.
So if they say, I see, you say, I see what you mean.
Exactly. Or if they say, it sounds like, you might say, I hear you. It's another subconscious layer of matching and building rapport, aligning with their sensory mode.
Wow, that's detailed. Okay, last one for rapport, technique 49, the premature WE.
This is about sprinkling in words like we, us, and our early on in a conversation, even with someone new.
Isn't that, well, premature?
It can feel that way, but Lowndes argues it subtly creates a sense of shared identity, of being on the same team. So what should we do about this? Or, that's a great idea for us. It fosters intimacy faster.
Interesting psychological trick.
Okay.
Final section for today, part 6, the power of praise, but avoiding slimy flattery, right?
Absolutely. That's crucial. Genuine praise is gold. Insincere flattery is, well, lead. It can really backfire.
So technique 51 gives us no-risk praise. How does that work?
Compliment someone, but not to their face. Compliment them to a mutual friend or colleague.
Ah, complimenting them behind their back.
In a good way. The idea is good news travels. That compliment is likely to get back to the person, and when it does, it feels incredibly genuine because you weren't saying it just to curry favor with them directly.
Sneaky, but effective. I like it. Technique 52.
Carrier pigeon kudos. Similar idea, but you're the messenger. If you hear someone say something nice about someone else, pass it on.
Hey, Sarah was just saying what a great job you did on that presentation.
Exactly. You deliver the compliment, it makes the recipient feel good, it makes the original complimenter look good, and you look good for being the positive messenger. Triple win.
Nice. Okay, technique 54, accidental adulation.
This is a bit more indirect. You imply praise for someone else through a seemingly self-deprecating remark targeted at a third party, or even just generally.
How would that work? Example.
Lowndes gives examples like, if someone asks you about public speaking, you might say something like, oh gosh, I still get nervous, not like person's name, they're just such a natural up there. You praise them while appearing humble.
Okay, subtle. And the final one, technique 55, the killer compliment.
This is about leaving a strong, positive final impression. It's a compliment you deliver at the end of a conversation.
But it has to be specific.
Very specific, personal, and genuine. Not just nice talking to you. More like, I was really impressed by your insight on a specific topic discussed. Something unique you noticed and admired during that conversation.
That would definitely stick with you more than a generic compliment.
Exactly. It makes them feel seen and appreciated for something specific and leaves them with a warm feeling about the interaction and about you.
Wow, okay. That's a lot of techniques just from this one book. So, wrapping up our first deep dive here on how to talk to anyone, what's the big picture takeaway?
I think it's that communication isn't just some mysterious talent you're born with or without. It really is a set of skills, techniques you can actually learn, practice, and use intentionally.
Yeah, definitely. And when you apply them thoughtfully, They can genuinely help you connect better with people, right? On a deeper level.
For sure. These techniques, from that first flooding smile all the way to the killer compliment, they're like practical shortcuts to being more effective, more engaging in pretty much any situation.
So for everyone listening, maybe the challenge is to just pick one or two.
Yeah, don't try to do all 92 at once. Pick one technique that resonated, maybe the sticky eyes or parroting,
Yeah.
and consciously try it out in your next few conversations.
And just see what happens. Observe the reaction.
Exactly. You might be really surprised by the difference even a small conscious change can make.
Okay, and a final thought to leave everyone with. Maybe think about your own current habits.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah.
Are there things you do automatically when you talk to people, maybe without even realizing it, that might actually be getting in the way of connecting?
Like maybe fidgeting too much or giving one-word answers.
Right. And then consider how deliberately using some of these principles we talked about today, how could that open up new doors? Better relationships, maybe new opportunities.
Definitely something to chew on.
For sure.
All right, that wraps up our deep dive for today on Life Changing Podcast. Join us again tomorrow as we tackle another life-changing book.